What's up, guys? Movie addicted nerd here, formerly known as the hardcore horror nerd. I decided to start a new channel and change things up a bit because I realized I wasn't really just exclusively talking about horror on my last channel. So this is going to be my new channel, same subject of movies, but not just closed into horror. It's going to be all movies that I watch. Um, and this is going to be my first video for the new channel, and it's going to be my top movies of 2015. Now, 2015 I thought was a very, very strong year for movies. I went to the movies more times than I can count, and even one movie I went to go see twice in the same week. That's how good it was. So I have 12 movies in total. Two of them are going to be honorable mentions, but the first 10 are my top 10 must see 2015 movies. Let's go ahead and get started. Starting with number 10 is Owen Wilson and Pierce Brosnan movie No Escape. This movie I feel is going to be, I felt like it was a sleeper hit kind of thing. And when I first saw the preview, the only thing they really showed you was Owen Wilson throwing his daughter over a balcony from one building to another, and that's all you see in the preview. And that grabbed my attention instantly. And I was able to go see it in theaters because my local theater happened to be playing it. And I was on the edge of my seat the entire movie. Like, it did not slow down at all. And there was even parts where I was like, this is an Owen Wilson movie? Because when I see Owen Wilson, I think a goofy dude. But he was completely serious in this movie. And I was blown away about how good this movie turned out to be. Probably one of the best thrillers I have seen in a long time. So if you haven't checked it out yet, and if you're reluctant about checking it out, I highly, highly recommend it. Great movie, especially if you love thrillers. The next movie is one I also got to see in theaters, and I was really happy I did. And I've watched it several times since, so it's just that good, and it's dope. It's basically it's a movie about this guy right here. His name's Malcolm, and he's obsessed with late 80s, early 90s hip hop, in the hip hop culture in the early 90s. He even dresses like him. He has his haircut like Kid and Play. Um, so he lives in the bottoms, is what they call it. He lives in Inglewood, California, and he gets caught up with a drug dealer played by ASAP Rocky, and the drug dealer puts his drugs in Malcolm's bag, and so Malcolm has to figure out how to get rid of these drugs without being traced back to him while he's fighting to get into Harvard at the same time. Um, it had an amazing soundtrack. The cast was great. The all the actors. I was even impressed by ASAP Rocky's acting ability. It was all really good. I highly recommend it, especially if you like older hip hop, because they do play a lot of it in this. And it was funny. It was smart and inventive in a way. And yeah, so I really suggest you check this one out. The next one up is one I didn't get to see in theaters. One I only read about through iTunes and some other movies, and I only knew about the movie because there was an actress in it that I like, and I ended up picking it up a couple weeks ago, and I watched it the night I got it, and it blew me away with how smart and amazing this movie was. It's very emotional too, and that is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Now, I only knew about the aspect of the dying girl has cancer, and Earl, and I forget the main character's name. They basically make these really crappy knockoff versions of movies. Like, one was called a Sockwork Orange and a Box Full of Posies Now. So Clockwork Orange and Apocalypse Now was what they were playing off of, and they basically did this to make this girl's life with cancer, as she was going through chemo and all that, not so hard to bear and a little bit easier to deal with. And the one thing I didn't like about this movie was how hard it hit me throughout the whole movie. Never mind, I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, it's really good. Olivia Cooke is the only reason I really picked up this movie, because she's amazing in Bates Motel, And when I saw that she was in this movie, I wanted to check it out. But it just blew me away. Really smart, very funny, very sweet, and just I can't say enough about this movie. But yeah, if you haven't seen this one yet, check it out. Next up is one that I really, really loved and I'm glad that I got to see it in theaters is Straight Outta Compton. Now, this movie was just amazing. The soundtrack was amazing. All the actors that they picked to play the members of NWA were crazy good at their roles, especially Jason Mitchell, who played Easy E. I felt like I was watching Easy on the big screen. It was really awesome to see. O'Shea Jackson Jr. did a great job playing his father. Corey Mitchell played Dr. Dre, and he was super good at it. Again, it was like I was watching Actually, all three of them: Corey Mitchell, Corey Hawkins. I'm sorry, Jason Mitchell, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. I felt like I was just watching Young Dre, Young Cube, and Young Easy up on the screen. It was brilliantly done, and I'm excited that they're releasing a director's cut because I did love the movie and it wasn't bad at all, but I also left like wanting more. It was that good. I was just like, why did they have to end it there? Why can't we see more? Really strong movie, and I'm excited to check out this director's cut. I think it comes out on Blu-ray on Tuesday, so excited to check that out finally. Number six, it would be, is one I got to see in theaters, and I was just blown away by how crazy good this was. And I remembered like a year ago when they first announced it, I was all like, "Oh man, this is going to be like a bunch of explosions and some sand going around." But it wasn't that, and I was completely blown away. And that's Mad Max Fury Road. Right here, I have the Blu-ray Steelbook edition, only available at Best Buy. Well, not anymore. I hear it's sold out in a lot of places, but this thing was crazy hard to get. I got the last copy at Best Buy. But seriously, this movie was extremely awesome. I was blown away. Non-stop action for 2 hours. It didn't drag in any place. I felt like I could just sit there and just keep watching it all day. That's how amazing it was. Um, George Miller definitely did a good job making sure that his character Max will live on forever. There's rumors though that George Miller doesn't want to make any more Mad Max, which I'm a little saddened by that, but at the same time, I can be fine with it too because I felt like Fury Road here ended on an extremely high note for the franchise. Um, Tom Hardy plays Max, of course. Charlize Theron plays Furiosa, and I felt, to be honest with you, and a lot of people felt this way, but negatively, I guess. But I feel it towards like positively that Charlize Theron really stole the show. Like it turned into not just the story of Max; it was the story of Max and Furiosa defeating the villain, so to speak. And I was just incredibly blown away by how amazing the setting was, all the bright, vibrant colors, the and the coolest part about the whole movie was all the car chase scenes. It was literally a 2 hour car chase, but it was extremely, incredibly well done, color wise, cinematography wise, all that. Again, if you haven't checked this one out, check it out. I hear a lot of mixed reviews from people on this one, but I was blown away by it, so I only hear the positive reviews in my mind. Next up is one that I was really, really happy I got to go see in theaters, and that is Creed. Now, Creed is the spin-off slash sequel to the Rocky franchise, specifically Rocky 1, 2, and 3. I may be wrong on that. Sorry if I am wrong. But so Creed follows the story of Adonis Creed, who is the love child of Apollo Creed and some other woman. And then he gets adopted by Apollo's wife, but he doesn't want anything to do with boxing. He knows who his dad is, and he doesn't want to be like his dad. So he became a normal kid and all that. And then eventually he decided to actually get into boxing and all that. And so he actually moves to Philadelphia to meet Rocky Balboa to be trained. And I was just the emotion that Sylvester Stallone put through in that movie was crazy good. Um, him as Rocky Balboa, seeing Rocky Balboa on screen again was really truly amazing, and I'm really glad he won the Golden Globe for supporting actor for that role because I just can't say enough about how amazing he was as Rocky Balboa. And the movie itself was amazing. I felt like I was watching the original Rocky all over again, and it blew me away. The next one is The Martian. Now, this movie was insanely, incredibly awesome. Matt Damon plays an astronaut who gets abandoned on Mars, and he has to pretty much figure out how to live on Mars until he can be rescued. And you know, visually, the movie was incredible. The It kept me engaged throughout the entire 2 hour runtime, and it was funny, and it was kind of like a bit scary at parts too. I would say because I mean, you kind of have to put yourself into the world of he's trapped alone in Mars and how is he going to survive because we don't know what's exactly on Mars and all that. So next up is one I was really I was excited to see all of these in theaters that I did get to see in theaters, but this one I was so excited to see in theaters because I was waiting for this movie to come out all year, and that is Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. I actually went to go see this movie twice in the same week. So it came out the Christmas Day. I got to see it on the 31st, and then I saw it again New Year's Day. Um, so the first time I saw it, I saw the 70 millimeter roadshow version, and this was just amazing. It had an overture and an intermission, and it was probably, I will say it, it's Quentin Tarantino's best work. It is my favorite work by him, and I feel like it's his strongest writing ever. This Roadshow edition booklet's pretty cool. I mean, it's got a poster, so there's Tim Roth's character in The Hateful Eight, and then also it tells you. Got it all upside down on me. Some images from the movie itself, like behind the scenes images, casting, and they pretty much explained how the Roadshow version was made and all that. Incredible movie, and again, so I got to see it in 70 millimeter, and then I went like 2 days later and watched it again in regular like theatrical release, and it was just incredible. The only main differences I really knew between the 70 millimeter version and the theatrical like digital version was the intermission and the overture were gone. That's about it. That's really all I really noticed. But yeah, it was crazy good. And then the just the setting of the whole movie was awesome. The 70 millimeter version was definitely something that you need to see if you still can. Samuel L. Jackson was kind of like the main character of the movie, and he brought it. Like this was one of the best Samuel L. Jackson and Quentin Tarantino mashup, like team up work that they've done. I mean, he was really good in Jackie Brown. He was really good in Pulp Fiction, but this like Samuel L. Jackson stole this show, and so did Jennifer Jason Leigh. I felt like she was incredibly good for what she did in the movie. I mean, she didn't talk a whole lot, but her presence and like the way she acted when she did talk and stuff like that completely stole the show. Now, number one movie, and I think a lot of you guys could probably guess this, but the number one movie of 2015 for me, and this was a really hard list to make, to be honest with you. I went through Dope and Me and the Dying Girl. I went through their rankings so much. I was like, no, Dope was better. No, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl was better. Same with like Straight Outta Compton, Creed, The Martian, and Mad Max. That was all really hard to put in a list of like, this one needs to definitely be here versus this one's down here, you know? And so the number one movie, though, hands down, I knew this was going to be the number one movie, is Star Wars The Force Awakens. This movie was just, Star Wars is back. JJ brought it, and he brought it good, and I couldn't be more happier with what I was witnessing on the screen. Just everything about this movie was just amazing. so many theories in my mind. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, crazy good movie. Uh, Kylo Ren is definitely one of the best villains in the franchise, I would say. Next to Darth Vader, yeah, I know Darth Vader's really good. Darth Vader's the original, but I feel like Kylo Ren, like he was the show stealer, and Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, was just perfect as that role. It was really good to see all like Mark Hamill back in it. It was good to see Carrie Fisher back in it. It was good to see Harrison Ford, and I felt like all the new cast and the old cast like meshed together really well. And I'm really glad with what I saw on screen. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, JJ is going to ruin this," or "JJ doesn't know what he's doing." But the thing is JJ really went at it as like a fan perspective, and I felt like it came out the best way anybody can make it, really. So I was really, really excited that I got to go see that one in theaters. It killed me that I had to, because it came out December 18th. I didn't see it till December 26th. So it killed me not seeing it for a few days. But when I did see it, like the minute the crawl started and Star Wars popped up and the crawl started, I sat back in my seat and I felt like it blew me away. I was just like, whoa, we're witnessing another Star Wars again. So that is my top 10. Oh, sorry, I got two more to talk about. I have a couple honorable mentions in this list. They were really good, but I don't put them in my top 10. The first one is a horror comedy called The Final Girls. Now, it's I want to say it's meta, but it's not really meta. Basically, one girl's mom was a former slasher, like scream queen, final girl type character, and she dies in a car accident, and they go and watch her mom's movie in a theater because they were playing it again because it's become kind of like a cult classic, and somehow they get sucked into the movie. It almost reminded me of that really low budget horror movie that not a lot of people, I don't think, have seen, called Midnight Movie, where the characters are basically transformed into the movie, or the villain or the slasher from the movie is transformed into real life and starts killing all these characters. But that's what it is. And it was incredibly funny, and it was very campy, and it had a lot of horror references to like mainly slasher films, and I was really, really impressed with what I was watching. Another one that I watched, and the reason it didn't make the list was because to me it was really slow, and I do need to watch it again to get like a better opinion on it. But it was very slow, and it's not what I was expecting, but it was still amazing. And that is Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp. It's the story of Whitey Bulger. Basically, he was a gangster, and he worked with the FBI to basically kill other gangsters as long as he was safe. So yeah, Black Mass was really good, but again, really slow, and definitely needs a second watch for me to like be like, yeah, this movie could definitely be in the top of 2015. So that's my list of the top movies of 2015. Comment below what yours were, and I will see you guys next week with an all new brand new video.